good evening, welcome. Hi. I don't know why I've started doing that hand thing.
I don't know either, it's a bit weird.
That is a little bit. Hello, good evening, welcome to the Wiccan Warriors Sunday show.
Oh.
It's Sunday again.
Yeah.
Sorry, long pause. I was waiting for you to say something.
No.
Inspirational, motivational.
All right.
Excellent. Anyway, thank you for joining us. I don't know how many shows. I was about to say how many shows we've done, but I can't remember.
Oh, I don't honestly know.
But I'm just thinking, if you've never watched this before, my name's Alistair and this is Penny, and we are the Wiccan Warriors. And we like to have a bit of a chat every Sunday about the general gummidge-on that's going on in our lives, opinions we have about what's going on, some spiritual stuff. And today we've actually got a guest joining us. A guest going to join us.
Got a guest this week and next week.
Right, let's look on the comments. We got hello from, I'm not sure how to pronounce that.
Sarada?
Sounds about right. Hello, welcome. Also, on tonight's show, my brain's a little bit all over the place, I've got to be honest.
Okay.
I'm waiting for this coffee to kick in, and then I'll go manic, and then we'll get all this out of my head, and we'll be fine.
Good.
So, in this week's show, we have got Penny giving us an update on her fantastic week and what's actually happened. It's been really positive, and that's good, because we've not had a lot of that, I've got to be honest.
No.
On my week, I want to talk a little bit about doodles. If anybody out there has ever looked at the psychology of doodles, I've had a particularly weird few weeks of doodling, and I've gone down the little rabbit hole of what potentially these subconsciously mean. So we're going to go into that a little bit, not too deeply. We're going to dive into my
psyche.
No, it's kind of a little bit weird. Then we're going to be chatting with Jess from Tranquility Birthing, I believe it is. Let me have a look. Quickly just do this. So yeah, Jess will be joining us from Tranquility Birthing to talk to us about all things doula, being a spiritual mum, how you guys make people. Oh, I'm uber jealous. I think that's amazing. We've spoken about this stuff before because you are a doula.
Yes.
So we have spoken about stuff like this, but it's nice to get another opinion on there. I just don't want you two to get chatting away, and I'll just sit back and drink my coffee.
Okay.
So yeah, so if you've got any questions you'd like us to ask Jess, then
pop them in the comments.
By all means, pop them in the comments. Yep, we pronounced that right. That's excellent. Thank you very much. Chloe is here.
Hi, Chloe.
Jess is there in the background. So I'll wait for her to drop into, what do they call it? The green room at the bottom.
In the green room, yeah.
And Sharon's here as well. Hello.
Hello, lovely
Good
Sharon.
evening. I hope you've all had a good week. Let us know in the comments if you've had, on a scale of 1 to 10, how good your week's been. Like 10 being amazing, awesome. I'm not going to say a lottery win because that's just silly, but a positive week, or 1 being you feel like you've been dragged through a bunch of boulders by the ankles. I don't know where that crazy
we've had a few runs of those kind of weeks.
Yeah, we have. I've spoke quite passionately just recently about if one human being has the capability to help another human being without it causing them any major hardship, then maybe we are obliged to. We're obliged to help another human being.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's always reciprocated. So, right, other things that are coming on tonight. Information about the Psychic Night. If you haven't got your ticket yet, then do get it. Get those tickets. This is a Psychic Night. I don't think there's others like this. There possibly is. I don't know. But you get homemade or handmade cake, coffee, courtesy of Ryan's coffee shop.
Yep.
You get
amazing company.
Yep. You get an in-depth reading with Penny, so you get a bit of private time to go through cards. I will do a bit of mediumship. Sometimes it's some psychometry. Sometimes I use my tarots. We'll do some crystal things. We'll talk about whatever I feel is coming up on the table with the energy I feel from the people that are there. And it's just a good, positive energy night. I don't know how else to describe it.
It is.
So yeah, I thoroughly enjoy them. I like meeting new people and doing different energies and different readings. It's all good. We've got information on the next special guest that's coming up next week. Oh, it's all guests the next couple of weeks. So yeah, right, that's the roundup of what's coming up on this week's show.
Coffee kitchen, there.
We might have done a little bit, yeah. Sometimes a little bit.
I shouldn't have to apologise for you this early on.
I've not said anything wrong yet.
Not yet.
I'm trying to behave because Jess said that, is it Noah?
Yeah.
He's in the background and he wants to say hello as well when we go live.
Oh, good.
So
good.
So I'm trying to be mindful that as kids, which you'd think wouldn't be that difficult because I work with kids in a school. But I do still find it difficult. I love sweary adjectives. I like that
Sort
of language. Yeah.
So
yeah, some positives. Right, some good news. Penny, what happened in your week?
In my week, I had a job interview for the school that I am currently subbing at through the agency, and it went amazingly well. I think. Well, they offered me the job, so
that's good. Right, excellent.
So that's good. So I'll get to.
With that in mind, guys,
really
hit the love button, love heart button on. Oh, I can't do that. I've got a spanner hand that doesn't work properly. I'm trying to do that.
So yeah,
Chloe's the first thing. That's fantastic. Congratulations.
It was really amazing, actually, and it had an aspect where they randomly picked 8 children from a random year group that was kind of a few from the year group I already worked with, and then some other kids, and I had to do like a creative story time with them in a really short space of time, and it went super well. I'd already decided the night they said I had an interview what I was going to do, and then I didn't really think about it again until the night before, when I just quickly went through the book that I'd planned to read, and the book was so loved, the one that I picked, that it is now working its way around the school, being read for story time just randomly in the school. So I don't know if I'll ever see it again. Well, I might, because
it'll work its way around.
Yeah, it would turn over, somebody would go, "You need to read this book." What, the one that's got my name in it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I'm going to get to do some cool stuff. I'm going to get to spend a lot of time with the books, which is always good. Love that. And doing some of the creative stuff. So when they do an art or a DT project anywhere in the school, I will go and do it. So that's made me super happy.
Good.
Because I've done lots with the kids of late. Made all the displays and things.
It's good.
Got all the year groups
all the time. You do.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. It's good. It's nice to have something enjoyable to do every day.
And I'm the yin to your yang, because obviously I'm now hitting where I'm almost at a year. Been doing this a year, and I start to get itchy feet after that. Where I think, is this something long term, or is this a change of career moment? I don't know. I'm undecided as to whether or not I want to continue in the role I'm doing, working with kids this young. And I don't know.
You're good at it, though.
I don't know if it's enough of a challenge for me. And I don't mean that in arrogance, in the way that, I can control any kid. I'm not Nanny McPhee and all the other great nannies rolled into one. What I mean by that is, when the kid is behaving and doing it,
then what?
Yeah, then what do I do? You kind of feel surplus, and then I start mingling with the other kids, but then that's not technically what I should be doing. I shouldn't really be helping them. My focus is the one kid I'm working with. But
damn you doing your job properly.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Because when I first started with him, we set a sequence of boundaries in and routines in, then I was stuck. So you kind of, yay. So he's doing really well. So yeah, I don't know if I want to continue. But you're buzzing. You come home and tell me all about the kids. like I say, I don't always remember all the
Not
characters.
breaching any confidentiality at all. Just about
No, the generalisation of it.
fun things that I've done.
So no, it's good.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Watch this space. I'm going to update my CV on Indeed and see. Failing that, if you've got any jobs going, drop me an email.
Or you could train to be a doula.
I would like to be a doula, but
we've had this conversation,
Yeah.
and Jess also thinks that you'd be amazing at it.
there's so many things that I would enjoy about the job and all the work, but also so many things that I wouldn't.
Okay, so for those that have just joined us or recently joined us, if you don't know what a doula is, our special guest will be coming on to have a good chat to explain what the role is. And really, we'll be talking about how it relates to spirituality and why we're talking about it on here, really.
Yeah, well, I've got some questions written down.
I'm expecting tons from the gorgeous Chloe, who's completed her access course.
Has she finished her wiffery?
Whoop, whoop. No, she's completed the access course, which is the first thing you do, and then you go on to your midwife training, which she's finished her final exams and passed with distinction.
So is there 3 levels to the wifferys though? You've got kind of low wiffery and then midwifery and then large
You're an
wiffery
idiot.
or high wiffery. You see how random my brain works. This is why we don't delve into my brain.
No more coffee.
No more coffee.
No
so yeah,
more
so Jess is joining us. So drop us a message if there's anything you'd like to know about. I mean, I'm more interested in the spiritual side of it versus the medical side of it.
Chloe, don't encourage him by putting up laughing faces. Seriously. I shall send him to your house.
If nobody else has ever thought, so when do you qualify as a wiffery? If you're only halfway through.
If you're constantly at mid, you're an idiot. Oh, good grief. Jess, seriously, don't you join in as well?
It's only the same as other occupations that refer to themselves in the same term as practicing.
It is a weird
practicing
term.
Something. If you're practicing, fucking paying you a consultation fee, you better be knowing what you're doing. So, random words. Marion, sorry, I know you're at show, Marion. We've seen your Facebook.
Hi, Marion.
But thank you for joining us.
And we'll assume that your internet will drop in and out randomly.
Yeah, Marion will be Araban, so if we make it seem like we're slow-mo, it might catch Marion out a little bit.
Oh, don't do things like that. Don't do things like that.
So yeah, so that was your fantastic, and that's amazing news. I'm so proud. It's amazing. I love watching you buzz about stuff. I know, don't get me wrong, we are struggling financially, but I'd much rather be doing something we enjoy, and then we cut our cloth accordingly.
Which is something that I said, in that it is a massive financial difference doing this, but mental well-being, sometimes you've really got to put that on the top of your pile to consider. So yeah, we've barely got a roof over our head, and we might not be able to eat, but I'm happy and not coming home crying, rocking, and considering
it's nice that
behaviour.
Also we're in a position, I know it's going to sound a little bit soppy, but we're both in a position where we found each other to support each other through this. There's not the same fucking desire and need for money. Sorry, I realised I swore then. Beep. Need for money that I've had in the past from people. I don't want to not go into that too much, but I like the fact that we are both searching what fulfills us, and then the financial bit.
Never.
It has to come.
I would do this.
There has to be a financial thing. Although I did pose the question to somebody in the week that if you don't need the money, why do you charge for it? Elon Musk clearly doesn't need the money from the sale of each car, does he?
No.
And I get that the factory workers do and all the people in the chinks in the chain, but he could afford to make non-profit motors and just sell the cars at cost. He doesn't need any more money, but he still charges money. What does he need that more money for?
I don't know. I'm not Elon Musk.
If anybody can explain to me the economics of how we stop all the money fractured. Sorry, a rabbit hole randomly appeared.
No, we're not going to get. We're
top
not
of the
going to
pile.
spin off onto that tangent now. Let's hang on to the few viewers that we've gained.
Okay, fair enough. Right, doodles. What's your thought on doodles? Do you guys doodle? Are you a doodler?
Yeah.
What do you mean you're clicking the?
Got to invite her in.
I haven't invited her in.
Hang on.
Hold on, people.
Bear with us. We're trying to get our lovely guest in. So if it looks like we're just staring at the screen blankly, we're not. We're doing stuff at the same time, but it's inconveniently taking over the whole screen.
Yeah, sorry. There we go. We're back. Or we probably weren't gone anywhere.
Okay, so
yeah, doodles. Do you guys doodle? I do. I don't know if some people would have seen them on my Instagram. I've posted them, but there's all kinds of random shapes. These are kind of the building-y ones. Let's skip through to some weird kind of spirally ones. I don't know what that one's about. Don't open the door. Eyes. I'm going to come to meanings in a minute. That's why I've purposely put these here, because there's a bit of research because of it. Weird eye one there. And then these kind of things. Flowery ones. I don't know where these have come from.
that's your more gentle side, your nurturing side.
Trees again. So I did a bit of a Google and I had a look to see what these kind of things can mean. And believe it or not, I'm not saying I do believe it, but that said, with how my mind is at the minute and the stuff that's going through my mind, it does kind of make sense. So boxes and flowers, the geometric things, are to do with being cheerful, confident, and a team player.
And do you do those?
No, not really.
You did one.
Yeah, no, boxes and flowers, yes. It's the cheerful, confident team player bit I have an issue with.
Well, the team player, I would have said, maybe not.
The spirals and faces and drawing with loads of circles comes as stressed, hungry for more rewarding work.
It's interesting.
So yeah. And eyes, that kind of eye shape or actual eyes,
yeah,
comes to optimist but frustrated and looking for new challenge. So having read that and then looked at those, and then over the last couple of weeks while I've been doodling all these, it's like it might actually be. But let us know, what do you think? Do you doodle any of those? Oh, that's a mouthful. Do you doodle those sorts of things? I mean, I just grabbed those because that's...
I doodle flowers, right, and occasionally spirals, but I doodle eyes and faces. It depends what the time is that I'm doodling. I don't doodle at work unless it's part of an art project that I'm doing.
Okay.
I doodle on the phone. I think a lot of people, if you've got a pen and paper, doodle when you're on the phone. So that would depend on what I'm talking about. I would do boxes if I was maybe making a financial call that I was uncomfortable in. And I always took that as boxing. I feel boxed in.
Just loads of individual crap.
Excellent.
And flowers, animals, and random patterns.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, mine as well. Some of them.
I share my picture. It's not a doodle. Which way? That way. Yeah. I did this in art in about 5 minutes just to show
kids how to do it.
How to use the paint, because we don't know how to use the paint. They're just plain primary colours. It was like, this is how you mix them.
Right.
Anyway,
come on in, Jess. Where's Jess?
It's not worked. Maybe send it a messenger.
That's how I've done. That's how I've sent it 3 times. I need to email it to her.
We have had guests on the show before and it's worked.
Yes, but I need to email it.
Okay. She's clicking it.
Oh, there we go.
No, but that might be. I'm clicking it, but nothing's happening.
Dun, dun, dun. Is this going to work? We're calling our first live guest.
I don't know.
Guest.
Do you have to go into? I don't know where the green room is.
It'll just come up. It should come here.
Oh, right, okay.
Nothing's happening. Yep. Okay. Yeah, reply with your email and I'll send it over to that and I'll just pass the mic over to Penny for a minute.
What for? I'm not going to break into song or anything like that. So, anybody who I drew a card for last week, I have no idea what I said and who to. Did any of it come right? The only one that I remember is Chloe. I said there'll be a new baby. If not for Chloe, for someone else, but very close to her. So I'm intrigued if that worked for anybody. I can't tell now if anybody's responded because Alistair's closed the screen.
I've got the screen.
Because he's searching for the lovely Jess.
I've got to send this to Jess.
So one moment, people. Do you know what? I got bit today by, I'm guessing a spider because I've got two very close puncture marks on my leg. And it's
I bet it
really sore. Yeah, because I've only got poison flowing through. No one that I know of. Oh, well, we shall see. All right, Sharon, settle down. Not Chloe.
I didn't hear what you were saying.
Among the pigeons. Still waiting for the money. The thing is, there's no timeline to when you give the information that comes through the card. So it's not a finite, this will happen on a week next Tuesday.
Oh, Marion says she's got loads of bites. She's tasty, very, very tasty.
Yeah.
Those midgies love her.
Midgies and mozzies. We've had an influx of mozzies, but cracking spider bite. We were standing in the shop and I felt it bite.
Right. Email is sent.
And it's very itchy, but it was very sore. Interesting little fact while we're waiting, because I can't see anything on the screen, that it's the bacteria on our skin that attracts mozzies to us. So that's the reason why some people, some people get bitten more than others. It is the bacteria that's on our skin, and no matter how much we wash and things like that, it's the bacteria generated by our own body that entices mozzies to bite, which is why some people get bitten savagely every year, all the time, and other people never ever get bitten.
Somebody's arrived in our green room.
We have somebody in the green room. Whoop, whoop. Right. E.T. seems to be behind you though, Jess.
Elliot. Apparently, E.T. never actually said E.T. phone home.
Oh, I know. He said home phone.
Aliens never get the language right. Right, let's see if we get this right.
Right, let's see if it works.
Let's see if we can do this.
Are you ready?
Are you ready, Jess? Give us a little wave if you're ready. Boom, there we go.
I'm trying to get, there we go.
Hold on, we've lost Penny. How do we do this?
No, you're fine. Just leave me off. You look like you're doing a show with Jess.
Oh, hang on. That's it. That's better.
When I want a break from the show, we'll just get Jess on because she's so good at doing her daily lives.
Do you know
what? We're Insta thing.
Yeah.
Hold on, we need to turn the volume up slightly.
And I want to know what filter you use because you always look fabulous. I always look like I've been dragged through a hedge.
Do you know, it's just makeup, I think. Yeah. Just lots and lots of makeup.
Clearly you do a better job than I do.
Right, yeah, Chloe's saying hi.
Hi, so.
Hi, Noah.
Hi.
Hi, Aquaman. Hi, Aquaman.
He wishes. I wish. Not really. Ooh.
Right then, Jess, you're a doula.
Yes.
Why?
Yeah. No,
why?
Why? No, why? Why are you a doula?
With my 3, I had both my first births were amazing. I felt really calm in control. They were really quick. I didn't have any pain relief, no problems at all. My third birth, I was induced, which I didn't actually need to be. I had a midwife. She rolled her eyes at me because I asked how they were going to induce me, because she was coming at me with gloves. And I was like, whoa, what are you about to do? And she rolled her eyes and tutted. And I just kind of spiraled and went into this panic and fear. And it was awful. I had like every pain relief going, ended up in theatre and everything. And looking back on it, there wasn't a medical reason. It was all in my head, like, and how I was treated. And I just thought, if I can do something to make sure other women don't go through that, then that's what I've got to do. So, and I always did want to do midwifery, but I think a lot of people go into midwifery thinking they're going to do what doulas do, and they end up getting caught in all the admin and stuff. And so, yeah, so that's why I decided to become a doula, and I love it.
Excellent. So did you have a doula at one of your births, or did you just decide, I'm now going to be a doula?
Do you know what? This makes me laugh every year. It comes back up on my little memories on Facebook. When I was pregnant, actually, with Noah, we went to a home birth class in Warwick, and we came home, and I put a status up saying, I've just met all these hippies at a home birth class who seem to think that hypnobirthing and having a doula will help during their labour. Lol. Every time I see it, I'm like, yeah. So no, I didn't. I wish that I had have done, because I think it would have made a massive difference. But yeah, I didn't really understand what doulas did then.
So all that hippie nonsense, you decided to train and become one.
Yeah.
Excellent.
It's
Seems
never
good.
too late to go back on your word.
So, what description do you give when people say, what is a doula?
I say it's like a midwife, but for your emotional health, like your mental health. I say midwives focus from the neck down. Your doula is there from the neck up to make sure you've had whatever birth you have, that you have a positive experience to look back on.
Yeah.
So, and
I think it's quite a hard question, because there's a lot that we do, but there's a lot that we do that is emotional, it isn't practical. And that's quite hard to explain in a really short space of time, because people want to know very quickly. And my response now is always non-medical midwife. Because that puts them in the right frame of mind for, oh, I'm doing everything but medical stuff. And it's just a quicker answer, because then people either engage in conversation or go away if they're interested. But whenever I have that conversation, I always hear almost immediately afterwards, that's American, isn't it?
Oh, really? I've not had that yet.
Oh, no, nearly every conversation I've had, that's American. They have that in America.
Oh.
No, they have that throughout the world.
I get that that's a new fate, like a new fashion, people say. And then I'm like, no, it's like, it is actually even mentioned, like in the Bible, it mentions doulas. Like, so I'm like, it's not really, they were
claiming that as fact, because it's in the Bible.
Yes, it's a fact, Alistair, because it's in the Bible. It's definitely real.
We all know.
That's the non-fiction part of the fiction.
No, but that's the timeline, how far recorded it is.
Well, that leads me to my next question. Without kind of poking a hole at feminists.
Before we go any further, I will apologise to Jess and everybody else that's listening. I have no idea what questions he's going to ask. We've had no conversation about it today.
No.
Be sensible.
I'm being sensible. Well, I've lost my question.
Oh, sorry. We were talking about the Bible and how far back it goes.
No, but I was going to move on from that.
You said no offense to feminists or something like that.
Oh yeah, I don't want to wind up or poke at feminists, but roughly when did men take over the birthing of children?
50s. It was the 50s when they started to push women to go into hospitals. If
Yeah.
It's in Spiritual Midwifery, the Ina May Gaskin book.
Yeah.
When they started saying,
I'll ask a question to you next time, Jess.
don't
It's all right.
go, don't have your baby at home, it's dangerous. Sorry, I was helping.
My point was going to be
right
that the majority of doctors in early 19th and 20th century were all men. So it's male-led for all this healthcare for women. And I think they literally turned it into like a conveyor belt style way of doing things.
Yeah, it feels very much like that still, I think.
Oh, you're in a bit of pain, right? Numb the pain. No, what does the pain mean? And I just, that's the bit that I'm more interested in, is when will that shift of power go full circle? When will men stop interfering unless it is driven in the right positive ways? You get my logic? That's not about potentially selling a pain relief drug, a machine, a TENS machine, a particular kind of bed. Everything around that mum costs money.
Yeah.
And that's the bit I would sort of wonder about, and whether or not you still see that now, that male influence as a negative.
Do you know,
men just want to solve the problem.
I've only been at one birth where there was a male midwife, and he used to be a doula as well. And I have to say, he was amazing. Like his whole attitude was amazing, and it was really calming for the mum as well. But I think, most of the time when you do, especially if you're birthing in a hospital, obviously, the only time you tend to see a man come into the room, it's when things are more high risk or things are going in a different direction, and there's never any, how can we prevent this or things like that. It's always straight away. Generally, it's always straight away, right, this is the more medical option that we're going to do. And it's quite an authoritative figure as well. So you will see the mum kind of, even if you've spoken about it before and said, we'll discuss it, we'll make informed choices, the second that like white coat comes into the room and it's a man saying, I'm going to do this, the mum will often just go, oh yeah, okay, because you feel pressure.
Yeah, the assumption is that it's needed.
Yeah. So,
and that's where I'm hoping that, being a doula, do you break down those barriers and go, no, you don't have to have that. You don't need to do this.
Oh, definitely.
What sort of things do you advise people they don't necessarily need to do unless absolutely necessary?
Well, I always say that whatever happens during your labour, you've always got that few seconds just to quickly think about things. You don't have to just say yes just because it's been suggested to you. It's an offer, it's not a demand. You don't have to have anything done. So especially if it's something that you have discussed before with your doula, you can say, can we just have a few seconds before you agree to something? Because you might end up agreeing to something and then afterwards you really regret it, and it's quite hard postnatally then mentally for you. Whereas if you've had a few seconds to breathe and to think about it, even if you still decide to go ahead with it, you know that you made the choice because you thought logically rather than just being told what to do and pushed down a route and feeling the lack of control.
For sure.
So is it not as bad as what I'm assuming then? I'm going by sort of hospitals during the 1920s, 30s, 40s, 50s.
Oh no, there's still occasions where it's horrendous. I've had to step in, literally, physically step between and say no. They said no.
Yeah. One of my best friends only a couple of weeks ago had a baby, and I wasn't her doula, and she's okay with me telling this. She had declined vaginal examinations, and the midwife began to do one, and she apparently was literally saying to her, stop, I don't want this. And the midwife went, don't be silly, you've got to have it. And then went, oh no, I've just done you a cervical sweep as well. Literally saying,
that's assault.
And I said to her, that is assault. I said, like, if I would have been there, I would literally have pulled their hand out if you were saying stop. Like, it's just appalling that women get treated that way still, as if they're not an actual person. it's awful.
It's shocking, and I've certainly been in that situation where the midwife, who knew better, was really supportive, went, please just let me just check, and my client, bless her heart, just kept looking at me, which was her indication of no, because she knew she wouldn't have the words, and I'd say, she said no. And that went all the way through. They never did one examination on her because she didn't want it, and
it's not really
absolutely stood in her way. And that was amazing. That was a natural birth that had never been witnessed, or hadn't been witnessed for an obscene amount of time. Certainly one of the midwives that was in the room said, I've been a midwife for 20 years and I've never seen that, that it was a natural breach. In the position that the mum was comfortable with. To be honest, we were on the floor for about 12 hours, rolling around on cushions. But definitely it was her space. And that's what doulas do. We protect the space of that person.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people, when they hear of a doula, they assume that it means that you can't have pain relief, you have to do everything naturally, and things. And I always feel like I'm correcting people, saying no, it's not that at all. It's that you're more likely that you will end up in that situation, but it will be because of your own choices, not because of what your doula is making you do. Like, if you want to have an epidural and you know all the risks and all the benefits to it, and you decide you want one, then you have one. You know, it's your body and it's your baby. But a lot of people think that if you were to hire a doula, you're setting yourself up that you aren't allowed, and you have to be at home and you have to be in the water and things. And it's not the case at all. I think that's sometimes what puts people off having a doula.
I mean, I'm guessing that you have as well, but I've been in the operating room for cesarean, where lots of medical intervention was used. But
okay, right. Sharon's got a question. I'll pop it up on here. I think you should be able to see that, Jess.
Can I ask if something went wrong? Yeah, if the client is declining it, then they're declining it. It's completely their choice.
Well, that leads me to my next question. Sorry, I cut you off there. Leads me to my next question. Let's move away from the medical side of things to the more spiritual side of things. Do you help mums connect with their baby from a spiritual sensation, feeling, the empowerment side of things? Because that's where, as a man, I'm quite jealous. I can plant seeds in the ground, but I have to water them and tend them for them to grow, but they still grow because of Mother Earth. I can put a seed, but I can't grow anything. Do you get my logic? But you guys can. You make organs and everything. You make people. So do you help mums connect with that side of things, where it's the contradiction between all the medical, where you're going to need this relief and that's going to dilate and this is going to dislocate and that's going to pop out of there and the shoulders are going to, do you know, all this kind of detail is there, where you just actually go, well, no, sit and meditate, feel the vibration of your baby sort of logic.
Yeah, I mean, I do hypnobirthing with most of my clients. So a lot of that is obviously doing the meditation side of things and getting them to feel a sense of calm and excitement as well, really, about their labour, getting them to focus on not always necessarily the labour, but like the hour afterwards, like that hour when you first meet your baby and nobody else in the world knows that the baby's been born, and that rush of like hormones that you get, getting them to think about that when they're pregnant instead of always focusing on the labour. I think it starts to get them to feel like they start to imagine their baby a lot more as an actual baby rather than just something inside. So they start to picture what they're going to look like and what they're going to smell like, and you know what it's going to feel like when their baby like looks at them for the first time and things like that. And I think that's really lovely.
Nobody can prepare you for that.
That's the only thing that holds him back from being a doula. I'm sure that if something doesn't go to plan, the frustration would upset you, but that emotional surge because you are a man that's in touch with your emotions.
Pregnant women are like an energizer battery. I swear to God, if you circled a whole load of pregnant women and put an iPhone in the middle, they could charge the iPhone contactlessly. I don't know. Maybe it is the empath, spiritual side of me that connects. But you can feel it's just like a heat comes from a pregnant woman. And I know they sort of go, oh, there's pregnant glow, and men will find pregnant women more attractive because of that glow.
Some men.
Oh, I do.
Yeah, but that's you. Not all men.
And
quite a lot of men are repelled by it.
And actually, I mean, the birth thing, that hit me when I was probably about 12 or 13 when I first helped on a farm, and you see a farm animal born, and my first thought was, I'm the first person to see that animal.
Yeah.
I got that. That was my first moment there. I mean, don't get me wrong, 6 months later we ate it. But I guess it was a lamb.
We're not advocating.
I don't mean to go full circle on nature here, but that did.
We tend to discourage that.
But the birth side of it, the creation of life.
No.
Yeah.
That did go sideways kind of quick.
Yeah, it did a little bit. I mean,
but
when I do.
Let me get to my point.
Oh God.
Do you get that same rush every single time there's a birth? Do you get that buzz from the pregnant women?
Definitely. I mean, I get so excited when I get a message from my client saying that they are in labour. I mean, it does happen quite often that, I don't know, it's probably the same with you, Penny. I tend to almost sense like half a day or so before.
Yeah.
I'll kind of know it's going to happen. Like, I'll just suddenly just think, I need to get my bags, sort the kids.
It's like a spidey sense.
Yeah, and then you suddenly get a message going, oh, I think I've got a few twinges, and you're like, yes, and I get really get so excited about it. And like you said, when you're there, and you know, there's say 5 of you in the room, and then all of a sudden there's 6 of you in the room, like there's a new life there. It's amazing, and I pretty much cry every time. I always tell them before, I'm gonna cry, just because it's just that oxytocin boost that everyone gets. You can't beat it. It's just, and if you try and describe it to pregnant women and the birth partner before, like you said, you can't prepare someone for that unless they've been through it. I just say to them, if you just feel like you're high on drugs, even if you've had no pain relief, you just feel like you're flying. So
well, that's the thing, and I know I kind of wanted to say all that stuff first because I don't want people to think chauvinist, but you women are designed to do that. You're designed to do it. So the body has ways of doing pain relief. It has ways of moving that piece of bone or whatever it is to get whatever it is through.
You're absolutely right.
Providing there's no complications, everything should just be smooth sailing. Baby, done.
Absolutely true. I do want to pick up on something that you keep saying, which is not something that I generally say unless somebody requests it, and that's pain. The use of words makes a massive difference because people hear pain, it induces fear.
Yeah.
If you hear contraction means pain, because everybody on TV and everything you've ever heard and seen says contraction is pain. So contraction brings on all the negative stuff and sets you up for it to not go as smoothly as it should do.
Yeah.
So the change of language to surges and waves and discomfort and talking about comfort levels. And it's really weird. I think the first time that you change the language, it feels really alien to you because it's language that we've been brought up with.
Yeah.
And then now it's an automatic thing. When I have the conversation with somebody, it's an automatic thing to switch the language around or to say, what is your preferred terms? How do you want to communicate?
Well, that's what
certain
Chloe's just confirmed. I mean, Chloe, like we said earlier, is training to be a midwife. So fear induces hormones which can slow labour down again.
And stop it.
That is something that I found out when I was 15, 16 doing equine physiology. Horses can do that. They can stall their pregnancy and give, so they get,
stall the labour.
Yeah.
And
Sorry,
that
labour.
happens with women as well.
Yeah.
It can absolutely stop it dead in its tracks. And it's like, I was going
When
good,
they-
and then I spoke to the consultant and it's all gone away again.
It's
like,
when
oh,
people
why?
transfer into hospital as well from home. They can be labouring really regularly at home, and then the
Yeah.
second you get in that car, it
Yeah.
just stops. Like they get really confused by it, and you just have to explain it's your adrenaline, it's your change in environment, and it's just your body just needs to feel safe again, and then things will pick up. But
okay, I've got 2 more questions.
Oh, good Lord. Can I answer the last one you asked? Because you didn't really give us an opportunity.
What was the last one then?
About spiritualism.
Yeah, okay.
With it, in the last one that my lovely artist lady, we talked in depth about how she wanted to introduce spiritualism into her birth and all the lovely plans she had for hopefully a home birth, very natural. We even discussed going into the garden for the actual delivery, and had planned a Wiccan which is a welcome to the world, in that I had the Wiccan prayers written. We talked about a cloth that she would design and put together, where it will be the first fabric that touches the baby, and then that stays with the baby, and when they grow up that's turned into an item of clothing for them, like a cloak or something like that. And we had all these amazing spiritual wonderful plans, and actually none of it came about, and I wasn't physically present. And she had an amazing pregnancy. She went to 43 weeks to the day, and ended up in hospital, and I was on the phone with her at 5 o'clock in the morning, FaceTiming, while she was in labour. And it had stalled. She'd rung because she'd gone along with the hospital. She did everything to make herself feel safe. She knew that the spiritual aspects that she wanted, she'd let them go, and it was about being safe, baby being safe. But hers had stalled, and she rang to say it's stalled. It's kind of regular, but it's not like it was, because she was in the hospital. We had a brief conversation and she went, oh no, it's back on. And then while we were on the phone, it kind of galloped, and baby was here in 45 minutes. And it goes to show that what you need at the core is to be in charge, to be feel safe, to feel capable, and to be allowed to do that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I knitted a blanket for her baby, which was really cute, and I haven't done another one since. But yeah, from a spiritual perspective, there's loads you can do spiritually.
Yes.
Sorry, I'll shut my face now.
I knew having 2 doulas on was a bad idea.
Well, we haven't been in contact for a really long time.
No, you guys need to have a phone call.
Yeah.
We need to have a coffee, Penny.
Yes, we do.
Hijacking the...
Sorry.
Right, next one's quick answers though, if we can. What have you seen change over the last few years with all the gender differences and the different kinds of relationships that people can have now, where 2 mums are in the room, or it's a mum and a couple of dads? I don't frigging know. There seems to be no boundaries to it. Have you got experience in that, and how have you seen that change, good or bad?
Well, I had to give myself a bit of a talking to a couple of years ago, that I had an inquiry from a lady who sent me a message saying, we are 20 weeks pregnant, can you come out and meet us, because we want to find out more about doulas. And I turned up at the house, and the lady I'd spoken to on message answered the door, and I went in and I said to her, oh, so how many weeks along are you then now? And she went, I'm not pregnant, it's my wife who's pregnant. And I just thought, I had just assumed that it was a male and a female. that were pregnant, and I had to really apologize. I mean, I came away thinking they're definitely not going to book me, because that was awful of me to have just made that assumption. And fortunately they did book me, and it's made me realize now that you can't just assume that all the time now. And their birth was amazing, and I think it worked so well because they'd both given birth before, and they both supported each other in labour before as well, and it was just such a nice atmosphere in that room. It felt like there was so much love there, and that was the first time where I've been at a birth where I've really felt like the couple are really connected together. I'd not really seen that before.
That's handy that you say that, because that leads to my next question, which was going to be
Transition.
dad's in the room. I'm not a typical dad. When my kids were born, it was the most exciting thing in the world. I wanted to see it from every angle. I wanted to know exactly what was going on. I was the one in charge of cutting the umbilical cord. It was massively important to me, because that's the first time I could get to interact with my kids.
Yeah.
But not all dads are like me. Some faint and pass out, or don't understand their role in it.
And they're quite happy for me to share this, because I do regularly. My lovely son-in-law, who it hadn't made any sound for a while, and I turned around and he was sobbing in the corner of the room. I mean, staring at the wall. I could just see his shoulders going up and down. And I said, is it okay if he leaves the room, because I don't think this is going to help you at all? And it was, yeah, get him out. And I went, you can leave the room. He ran out of the room until everything was done, and I brought him back in. But he'd been throwing up in the corridor in the bin.
So how does that, because like you say, that those two mums having that baby had a totally different dynamic to your standard heterosexual straight men in a relationship. Do you find that most of them are pretty useless?
Oh, that's a horrible thing.
I think they feel a bit of pressure to be macho and, you know, to not show their emotion quite so much and things like that.
Men like to solve a problem, but we can't solve any problems in that instance. We just have to wait.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's the thing. If we get in, because we want to feel like we're in control, I think, but no, I get it why a lot of blokes don't want to be in there.
Yeah. But I think part of a doula's role is to really encourage them and give them things to be doing that's going to be helping, and like little hints of what they can say. Because I mean, I've been at a lot of births where the dads have said, oh, I know it's so painful, and the mum has gone, how the hell do you know? Don't say that, because you don't know. But giving them encouragement things that they can say and do, so that they come away feeling like they were helpful and they were part of the experience, rather than just someone stood there watching.
Yeah, there was one that I was at that the dad, bless his heart, he was so wanting to engage and be a part of it. And she obviously went into her own zone, and I shut my mouth and didn't say anything, and just made occasional coo noises near her. And I'd said to him the same, expect that you will be perhaps shouted at and spoken to quite harshly, but don't feel that you need to speak.
It's just
you don't.
Yeah.
And he didn't, and bless him, she was absolutely vile to him until the baby came, and then everything was fine again. But because he was prepared for that, it wasn't such a huge thing. He's such a gentle soul.
Oh, I see this from Chloe.
Oh God.
He was dad told her it was almost there at 1 centimetre. That leads me to my next point.
That's how it works.
Men don't know, but nowadays in schools, they're taught. We were taught at school how you put babies there, how babies get there, and how babies get out. Yeah. But at no point was anybody, when I was a kid, taught the emotions that you have to deal with childbirth, supporting your partner. But now they are taught that in schools.
Are they?
They can have options to do all of that. Yeah.
That does.
What childbirth involves, how you can support your partner. There's pamphlets for fucking everything nowadays. Sorry, Noah, for everything nowadays. But there wasn't it's just purely the fact that I got excited by it all.
Yeah.
So yeah, but thank you, Jess. Thank you for joining us.
That's all right. It's been nice to have a nice little chat with you.
Yeah, we'll catch up properly.
So what would be your final thought or message to anybody who's, I'm going to say anybody who's having a baby, to try and be inclusive in my terminology?
You should be inclusive, because there are people that are going through transition. So there are terms like chest feeding instead of breastfeeding and things like
there's
that.
a lot of things, and I don't want to lose any viewers on this internet, me saying something wrong or of my opinion to do with what's medical and what's ethical and what's socially acceptable.
Anyway.
So what would be your message? Somebody's pregnant and they think, oh, should I get a doula? What would be the three things that you'd say, yeah, get a doula for this, this and this?
Well, first of all, you don't just book the first doula that you speak to. You need to speak to a few doulas, and you will know straight away which one you've got a connection with.
What's that the first one?
Doulas don't take offense. They won't take offense if you don't book them, but you need to know that you feel that instant connection and that you feel relaxed, or else the chemistry just doesn't work. But
from both sides as well, though. If we don't feel it, we won't engage.
Definitely. And to explain properly to your birth partner what a doula is there for, that they're not there to take over the role of birth partner. They're there to support both of you and give you both a positive experience. And and book me or Penny, because we're lovely.
So if somebody wants to book you, Jess, how do they do that? Give us a quick kind of, how do they do that?
Go onto my website, Tranquility Birthing. There's a little form to fill in, or send me a message on Instagram or something, and then we arrange to meet up for a cup of tea and take it from there, really.
Excellent. And if you want to book Penny, we're on Wiccan Warriors, obviously. We're here.
I've actually got an inbox that's got an obscene number of inquiries in it that, because of the move, I haven't been able to deal with anything because there's just too much organising to do. So I'll be booking people in through the summer holidays. If people could have their babies when they're actually due in the middle of a half term or something, that would be fabulous.
Superb. Thank you for joining us, Jess. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting.
Always.
I'm going to remove you. Feel free to sit in the green room for a couple of minutes if you want, and then we'll have a chat after the show. We're just going to wrap up and say goodbye to everybody. So, but everybody say goodbye to Jess. Say goodbye, Jess.
Thank you, Jess. Bye.
Excellent. Right, we're back. It's just us. I hope everybody enjoyed that. I know I asked some fairly random questions. It's got frigging hot in here. We need to sort out a fan or some aircon or something.
It's a subject not many people know about. Again, people assume that it's something new, and it's definitely not. It's a really old tradition of allowing women to do what women were intended to do.
I think it's
supported by other women who have been through the process or understand the process, but understands how our bodies work as well. Because that's the difference. There was a question that I didn't ask Jess that I wish I had now, which was about that programme that was on telly. Is it This Is Gonna Hurt? I watched it. Actually, I know it was massively slated, and it was slated for, it was about a OBGYN, a male essentially, who was horrendous to the women that he was supporting and overworked, and there was a lot of stuff in there, but for all its horrendousness, it did absolutely show the other side of it, that for all our lovely supportive women in control, it showed that actually there's quite a lot of narcissism out there, and men do go in with their great big boots and stomp all over it and take the control away and make it horrendous and dangerous. I think it was really enlightening, which I think was the purpose of it. And although I didn't enjoy the content, I appreciated it as exercising, this is what happens. This is the way it's done. This is why people behave. It doesn't mean that it's justifiable, but this is why things happen when you go to hospital.
Yeah.
To have babies. It was really interesting. But I was just intrigued what people thought of that. But if you haven't seen it, you might be interested. Chloe, I'm guessing you saw it and was horrified and went, I'll never ever be like that as a midwife.
You done?
I am done now on my little ranty rant.
No, not at all. Like I've spoken about it before on here. I've always been very open with how amazed I am by child. But when people kind of sit there and want to know the meaning of life, the meaning of life can only be, in my eyes, the creation of life. And it doesn't have to be creating a human life. Creating any life, growing anything is the meaning of life. It's the creation of more. But that's just my opinion. So no, right, let's wrap this up. First things first, we have just to remove us the tarot night at Ryan's. Got tickets available for that, so please go to our Facebook page, have a look at the event. If you drop me a message, I'll send you a quick link. It's only through PayPal, it takes a couple of minutes. My hair's fallen a bit. I'm going to get my hair cut. It's driving me insane.
So vain.
And next week we have got Spooky Mickey joining us. Now, if you don't know Mickey York, he works with UK Haunted. He does his own Dads, Lads and Kebabs with his friend Niall, which is like a blokes podcast.
It's a proper blokey bloke.
Fucking hilarious most weeks. It's brilliant. And he also has his own channel, the sort of Mickey York channel. I don't know what he classes that as.
Mickey York, Ghost Hunter.
Yeah, Ghost Hunter Mickey York. So he's going to be with us next week. That's an opportunity for us to talk to him about his ghost hunting, what equipment he uses, what he's got planned coming up, because he's a proper YouTuber. I know we dabble a bit and we do a bit.
I know they're like real famous.
Yeah, they're like proper YouTubers, because I said that in the message. I was trying to tie him down to a particular date
in theory, to join us. If you don't know who we're talking about, if you go on our website, there should be a link to the world's largest live stream seance that I did with Mickey and Alex from UK Haunted. So you can watch it from there if you haven't already. So yeah, that's tonight's show. We're done. We're dusted. We've overrun by 3.5 minutes. That's shocking. It's not shocking at all. I can talk about birthy stuff all evening. We could. Right. Next time I see Jess, that's it. That's all we're talking about, my lovely. Baby's birth. Excellent. Right. We've got to go, Penny. All right. So when you're ready, say goodbye, Penny. Goodbye. And join us next week.